Valentine's Day is around the corner, which means Valentine's Day makeup collections are being released, and I have a new one here to unbox and try out with you. Today we're gonna play with the ColourPop Lost in Love collection. Now, I've been pretty critical of ColourPop limited edition releases in the past. I've personally become a much bigger fan recently with their shift away from limited edition collections and their heavier lean into their core permanent products. But let's go into this with an open mind, but I'm not letting anyone off the hook here. So let's dive in, but first, if you're new here, hi, my name is Miranda. Welcome to my channel where we talk all things budget beauty. If that sounds interesting to you, then become the newest member of the Slashed Squad by hitting subscribe and the bell icon. First thing I'm pulling out is the Lost in Love palette. These shades are beautiful. So the Lost in Love eyeshadow palette definitely leans a little bit more warm when it comes to pinks and reds. We do have like a straight up warm red and a peachy orange shade as well. And we have a couple cooler options in berry tones here, but I want to compare this to some of their other pink palettes because I would say the number one criticism that ColourPop gets as a brand is that when it comes to their limited edition collections, there are a lot of the same shades we've seen in other palettes, just in brand new packaging. So the first palette that comes to mind when I see this is their Flirty Talk palette, which is still for sale on their website. They look pretty similar. Blushin' sort of looks like Cupid Called. Lil Red Dress looks like Fave Texts. Talk to Me looks like Dibs. Cuddle Up looks like Totally Smitten. Now, I have not tried the Flirty Talk palette. I don't have it to swatch side by side, but I would go as far as to say if you do have it, you might not really need this one. Another pink toned palette that ColourPop sells is their 9-pan Ooh La La palette. Although looking at these side by side, I would say they are pretty different. Okay, now that we've covered that though, let's try it on. So I think I'm gonna tap into Amorous, which is this sort of neon peachy shade. Now, the only sort of pinkish palette that I personally have from ColourPop is Smoke and Roses. And that one is much more a blushy, rosy, neutral palette. So for me, this does add something different to my collection. I want to go into this red. Fave Texts. I feel like red eyeshadow is so hard to do. Interestingly enough, in some other palettes where I have red shades, the reds are often labeled as not eye safe, which is like, then why are you putting it in the palette, right? But this one does not have any shadows that are like asterisked as not eye safe. I'm very curious to see if this is gonna stain though, because that is what red eyeshadow is notorious for. I will keep you updated on that in the comments. It looked a little warm to me at first glance in the palette, but no, this is a very nice true red. I'm actually a huge fan of pairing pink and red together, and I remember growing up like in fashion magazines, that was always a no-no because they're too close together in like the color family, but I think it looks super chic. So I think I am going to finish this look with some more pinks. I'm gonna lay down Dibs, which is this sort of medium pink. Like, I love outfits that color block pink and red. I think that they look so cool. It's just funny like how there are certain fashion or makeup rules and whatever, they're so arbitrary. It's like one person decided they didn't like how two colors look together and they're like, nope, faux pas. And then I'm gonna blend it together with that red to get a little bit of a gradient going. These are blending so nicely. This is the gradient of my dreams. How beautiful is that? Should we go into a glitter? We've got 4 glitter shades. We've got these 2 that look a little bit chunkier, and then these maybe look more shimmer versus glitter. I'm gonna swatch Totally Smitten and So In Love side by side to see what they look like. Oh my gosh. It's so pretty. I'm gonna go with that lighter glitter Totally Smitten, and I am applying with my fingers. I just find ColourPop's pressed glitters to apply best like that, and I'm just tapping that toward the inner portion of my lid. Wow, that glitter went on much more opaque than I expected. I think especially with that pink underneath it, it just looks really solid. I was expecting it to work a little bit more as a topper, but no, it's really standing on its own. This is more what I had in mind for this look. I definitely over applied the glitter on this side because I didn't expect it to go on so strong, but now I gotta even them out. There's like glitter everywhere over here, none on this side. So just be a little less heavy-handed. Dipping into Falling, which is this shimmery champagne. Oh, it's like a champagne with a pink undertone to it. That's really pretty. It's a duochrome or a multi-chrome. I'm gonna go ahead and sharpen up this look. I just have a makeup wipe here and drag that upward toward the tail of my brow. Then I'll take a little bit of my concealer. I'm using the ColourPop Pretty Fresh concealer. I'll just dot a little bit on where I took off my face makeup. I'm gonna add just a little bit of a liner look with the ColourPop BFF Cream Gel Liner. This is in the brown shade called Brouhaha. And then I'm gonna use a super precise brush since I already cleaned this up and I don't really wanna do it again. This is the Sigma E06 brush, one of my favorites. It is super thin and sharp. See how tiny that is? And I'm just gonna go ahead and kinda stamp and drag at the very outer corner. Not adding a super crazy wing or anything. I just want a little bit of dimension on my lash line. See the difference? It just adds a little bit of something to the lash line here and elongates the eye. Now I think I'm gonna go ahead and use a brown mascara. I'm using the ColourPop Level Up mascara in brown. Now my lashes are black. So when I use this brown mascara over them, it doesn't necessarily like turn them brown or make them look lighter. It just doesn't make them look darker. Like black mascara will make my lashes look even darker than they already are, especially as they get thicker and longer. So I've found that using brown mascara makes it look like my lashes are just really long and nice, and it doesn't look like they're coated as much with a makeup product. This mascara is perfect when you want that longer, fluttery effect. I wouldn't say it adds a ton of volume, but because I already have pretty dense lashes, I think it gives me more balanced lashes. So in case you couldn't tell by my reaction to this gorgeous finished eye look, I'm a fan of this palette. Like I said, I don't already have anything in my collection that looks like this. I don't have the Flirty Talk palette. So I'm a little bit more excited about this release. I think that the shadows are beautiful and bold, but wearable. They're super easy to work with. I know wearable is a different threshold for everybody, but I've always loved red toned eyeshadow looks. And I think you have enough options here to not have to go as bold as I did today. Now I'm kind of kicking myself because I just realized that we have 3 new Jelly Much eyeshadows as part of this collection. I love the Jelly Much formula, although I typically use these as like an all over lid shade, or I'll use these as a cut crease lid shade. This is a gel eyeshadow that usually it looks super metallic. And I've also found these to be budge proof. Once they set on the skin, they do not move or crease. So we have 3 new shades. Since I didn't use them on my eyes, let's swatch them. This one is called Forever Valentine. It's sort of like a translucent pinky champagne. Next we have All Love. Very similar finish with that kind of silvery shimmer, but you can tell that this one's a little bit of a deeper pink. And last we have Moon and Stars. That one we have more of that deeper kind of Barbie pink. Beautiful shimmery finish. And with these, I love using them because you're never gonna get that fallout because the glitter or sparkle is suspended in that gel. So I do find these a really nice and easy way to work sparkle into my look when I don't want to deal with, you know, having it end up everywhere. Now, before I move on to the other makeup in this collection, I need to contour and use one of the tools that they released. As part of the Lost in Love collection, we have the Heart Blending Sponge. Now, this sponge is supposed to change colors when it gets wet. Okay, how cute is this? Very, very cute. So, I have a glass of water. We're gonna try it out. Okay, let's try this. about this, y'all. It still looks very red. Editing Miranda here, I realized that my water had cooled down too much while I was filming in front of the camera. Here I've replaced it with warm water, and you can see that the effect works, but it doesn't last very long. As soon as you start wringing out the water and the sponge starts cooling down, it turns back to red. So it's a cool effect for like 3 seconds. Using the ColourPop Bronze Sticks in Manhattan Beach. This is not the shade that I meant to put on. This is just a little dark and warm, but we're gonna stay light-handed and hopefully it'll work out. Let's see how this shape works though. Like, is it practical? You know what? This sponge kind of feels rough. Like, it's not as soft as some of my other sponges, and I feel like I might be pulling off some of my makeup. So I'm gonna try to remedy this and just tap on my bronzer with my finger and blend it out that way because I got nervous. We'll try again with the cream blush, but let me figure some stuff out. Okay, I got a little gun shy there with the sponge. I'll try again. I was just panicking a little bit, but I will use it to blend out their new lip and cheek balms. So I do believe these are actually like reprisals of another ColourPop blush that they used to have. If I remember correctly, it was a matte blush, like a powder blush. These are more of a dewy cream blush. This one is called Heart's Content. Super balmy. Wow, we actually get a good amount of pigmentation here. Next we have Adore You. Love that one. A little bit more fuchsia. And then lastly we have Cutesy Wootsy. Love it. That one's pretty. That one's a little bit more of a warmer pinky berry shade. I think I want to go for that second shade for today's look. This one is the Adore You shade. These compacts do have a mirror in them, which is nice. So I'm going to start by dotting the blush. And then let's try blending out with the sponge. I don't think I like the sponge. I feel like it's not blending well. Okay, I had to go in with my finger again. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but the sponge is not it for me. Okay, let me try one last time with this frickin' sponge. I'm just gonna do one dot. I really feel like, hello? I just don't feel like it's diffusing and spreading out the product. You can still clearly see the dot. Meanwhile, I'm like beating the hell out of my face and dragging my foundation around in the process. So I think I'm just gonna stick with finger application on this one, because what the heck? Okay, loving this blush though. It is very thin and slippy, and I would say that the finish isn't super dewy. It has more of just that natural radiance behind it, like natural skin. And you can see that, you know, we're getting a lot of pigmentation here, but you can blend it out to be a bit more sheer. Like, look how nice and bouncy it's making my cheeks look. I really like this formula. So the blush, love. The sponge, lost. Now I do want to see, because they call this a lip and cheek balm, I want to see how this feels and looks on the lips. Usually not a fan of 2-in-1 products. I feel like a lot of them do not perform well both on the cheeks and lips. It's usually one or the other. So let's see how this goes. Hold on, let me show you what's going on here. So this is doing something that a lot of 2-in-1 products do on the lips, where it's kind of catching on my lip texture. Now, granted, I have dry lips and that's a me problem, but it is always with these lip and cheek products where they make my lips look like this often. So if I exfoliated and really moisturized my lips, this might be something that I do to get that sort of matchy look. But today we have one more product to test out for the lips, so I'm gonna take this off. Also going to add my most used highlight ever. This is the ColourPop Light Sticks in Glazy. I'm gonna top off my cheeks with that because I feel incomplete without a highlight. Yeah, you can see where I pulled my foundation out of place trying to blend that blush because all of my hyperpigmentation is showing now. I don't like that sponge. The last product I have to try on from this Lost in Love collection from ColourPop, 3 Ultra Glossy Lips. Here are the shades. Look at that shimmer though. Oh my goodness. Super excited to try these on. Let's swatch because we can't wear them all. This first one is Lover Era. Do we have a Swiftie on the ColourPop team? Really pretty, a lot of color there. Next is Taken, a little bit more of a fuchsia versus the red. Now this last one looks a bit more neutral, which I think I'm gonna go for today just because we did so much on the eyes. This one is One Kiss. Yeah, I like that a lot. Really pretty kind of peachy neutral. I kind of want to line the lips though before I go in with this. This is probably my most worn lip liner. This is the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in BFF2. All right, now I'm gonna put One Kiss on top of this. New combo unlocked. Just make sure when you're going over like a darker lip liner with a lighter gloss, wipe off the wand on the back of your hand before putting it back into the tube so you don't darken the rest of the gloss. Okay, we finished the makeup look I really love where we ended up, but I do have one more product to swatch. This is the Glitterly Obsessed Body Glitter Gel. They have this new shade Sparks. I mean, it's beautiful. But this is chonky glitter. So how I would use this in real life, the scenarios are pretty slim. Most likely a festival situation, a concert situation. I might put this on my chest, on the collarbones, or I've seen people use this in their hair, like on the hair part, and it looks awesome. But I can't imagine how annoying that is to get out. Here is the texture, very jelly-like, very soft. And here's your swatch. The color behind this is incredibly sheer, although you can tell that it's a pink, but the gel is more so just to act as the medium in which you can get this glitter on without it falling everywhere. I mean, it's gorgeous. Don't get me wrong. Really, really pretty, although I just am not going to be wearing this super regularly. So what do we think of this ColourPop Lost in Love collection? For me personally, I feel like everybody should pick up at least one of these lip and cheek balms. First of all, the packaging is just too darn cute, but the product itself, I think, looks beautiful on the skin. Beautiful pigmentation, and I really like that the finish isn't super dewy and wet looking. It's just a little bit in between natural and dewy. So these definitely a must. If you don't have anything like it already, I do think that the eyeshadow palette is worth picking up. I just love how this eye look came out, and I can't wait to play with it some more. Now, what are we absolutely skipping? This sponge. I just don't like the texture. I don't know if all of ColourPop sponges are like this. I don't know if I've tried one before, but it almost feels too rough. But I want to know what you think of this collection. What will you be picking up? Tell me in the comments below. Today's shout out goes to M Frog. Thanks for being a member of the Slashed Squad. And join me over in this video next where I test and compare the 5 highest rated lip oils at the drugstore. I'll see you over there. Bye.